Hello, man. Hello, McDuz. Hello, man. Hello, McDuz. Okay, that would be my sound check. Okay. Okay. Howdy, brothers. Howdy, brothers. Hey, go your own way. Go your own way. Hello, Brissy boy. Hello. I'm proud of being my toxic masculinity. Yes, I'm proud of mine too. I wanted to talk about two recent decisions I made. One was a painful decision to. It was about the chat there where you guys are, and then I just stopped moderating the chat, and seems to have worked out. That was a very good decision in my life, and that was I took on a don't feed the trolls um, a don't feed the trolls decision on that thing, and it seems to work out very well, and I'm very happy about it because we get very few trolls anymore, and I leave that up to you guys. You guys. You know how to use the three dots. If I can say anything about the people that come and listen to me, they're very intelligent. They know how to use the three dots. If you don't want to see someone, just ban them. I've had a sore throat all week, so I got the chloroseptic out so you can actually understand what I'm saying. The other decision was going on that feminist show. It was something mother. I can't even remember. And once in a while, I get a note from that from someone. Oh, Trav, you simped out. You went on a feminist show. Some of you know I was under a lot of pressure to do that, and it was a very big decision in my life. But I'm glad I did it. You know why I'm glad I did it? Because if you've been around for a little bit now, if you've been around my podcast for a month now, you notice one thing that hasn't shone back up since I did it, and that's a testament to MGTOW. It gives us all a learning lesson in MGTOW and how we should handle things, and how we should handle things sometimes is not how things get handled around MGTOW most of the time. Drama comes into MGTOW, and then drama feeds to trolls. And then one argument turns to another argument, and another argument turns to another argument. And it takes 3, 4, 5, 6 months, sometimes years, to get rid of these trolls. My two recent decisions show you how to do it very correctly. It shows you the right way to do these things. First of all, you don't argue with them. You don't moderate it. You don't kick them out, or else they'll just change their name and come back in and do it in some other way. And then it just becomes also confusing and entangled. You let the people that actually want to hear you decide who they want to talk to and who they don't want to talk to, because it's eventually their decision anyways. And that worked out very well for me, since I don't have to do those things anymore. I let YouTube do it for me. As a matter of fact, they forced me to do it. They would not. It was you're gonna let us moderate. You're going to let us moderate, and that's the way it was. So I went with it, and that was a very good decision in my life, since I don't have to deal with any trolls anymore. Like I said, the second decision was going on that show after weeks of being berated by two other MGTOWs and in the MGTOW sphere. And one of them is the younger son of that woman that I went on there, and oh yeah, no one will tell you that, but and she has a husband too that comes around MGTOW. But what I did is I went on the show, and I was my reasonable self. I didn't swear. I didn't get in any drama arguments. I did 2 hours. That was very uncomfortable for me, and I answered all her questions. The last thing she said after the show was done is, "You know, you're not what I thought you were." MGTOW was very reasonable, and you explained why it's reasonable for you, and I understand that. And it ended right there. There's no need for them to come back around after that. There's no need for them to argue. There's no need for us to converse. We come to an understanding, and that understanding is that MGTOW's not hurting anybody. I'm not hurting anybody, and no matter how hard people want it to go away, it's not going to, and there's really no reason for MGTOW to go away. You don't feed the trolls. You don't give them what they want, and you don't, by God's sakes, you never become what they say you are. In that, becoming what they say you are, that's what they want. They want you to argue. They want you to argue to the point where you become mean and vindictive. They want to show the world how mean and vindictive MGTOW is. And it's not that way. We only attack when getting attacked. But lately I found that if we even do that, it just proves their point, and we become what they say we are. Now, in that, when we're not what they say, when we act the opposite of what they say we are, when we're reasonable, when we explain our points, we articulate our points, we become those articulate men, those articulate, intelligent men that we say we are. That pisses them off more than anything in the world. They will not come back around, because there's nothing to come back around for except to, well, prove our point that they're vindictive and they're evil and they're just coming around to make us miserable. And that's why they're coming around, to make us miserable. And that's it. Just ignore them. That's it. Just ignore them. That's it. Just ignore them. Now I'll probably get a few in after this one, just to, because there's male trolls out there, the female with female identities that will just want to do that, and that's okay. I'm not going to argue with them either. Most of those people are people that are just a little bit off. They're just not right in the head. They just can't get it together. They just they don't make videos. They troll around MGTOW. They don't know if they want to be a MGTOW, or if they want to be a woman, or if they want to be a man, or if they have no idea what they want to be. Here's not the place for that. We're reasonable MGTOWs, and we talk about MGTOW, and we're not hurting anybody. And as long as we have all the answers, that's what we got. And those were two very good decisions in my life. That's the kind of decisions I'd like to see all of MGTOW making. Just don't feed the trolls, because if you piss them off, one thing's going to be for sure. They'll come back, because they're going to be mad. If you present yourself as a reasonable person, they ain't never going to be back. There's no reason to come back. Matter of fact, if you present yourself above reproach as a reasonable person, as a MGTOW monk, then they look stupid. They look like they're just vindictive females. Then they start looking what they are. And that's pretty much all I really have to say today. I made those decisions, and they're very good decisions, and they're contrary to what I would usually do. It took me years and years and years to grow up in here and not argue with the trolls, not run around poking at feminists. Because one thing for sure, and two for certain, that's going to happen. You run around poking at feminists, they're going to come wandering around MGTOW. They're going to start saying things. They're going to start causing drama. And then MGTOW becomes about that drama. And MGTOW could never be about that drama. It's childish. It's immature. It's not of a man. And I think a lot of the guys are starting to realize that. Some of the guys want to keep the old drama going that we've seen for years and years and years in here. Some of the guys don't know no better. Some of the guys are so excited, on fire with that. Woo! I'm a MGTOW. They know everything. They want to keep it going. They want it to be exciting as possible because they're stripping one thing away from their life and they're trying to put something else in there, and they think all that drama is going to fill that little piece in their soul that's calling out for female validation. It's not, and it never was created to be that. It was created as a space where men can come and talk and be men. It was created as a space where we didn't have to answer for anything. We didn't have to answer for this mysterious patriarchy. We didn't have to answer to Me Too. We didn't have to answer for things that just weren't real. We're very reasonable men. We're just normal guys, most of us. We're not PUAs. We're not jet setting around the world with millions of dollars in our pocket. And somehow, without work, we're doing all that stuff. That's a TV show. You ever notice that people in TV shows never have like real jobs? They're just jet setting around the world and nobody really actually knows how they did that. Well, that's fantasy fiction. That's what I see in PUA. It's fantasy fiction. It's made up stuff. If you're jet setting around the world and you don't have a job, then man, you could never be my kind of person because you had such an entitled life that you don't understand the world. There's a lot of ways to handle these things around here, and I think MGTOW should start handling it in a more mature way. All that drama needs to pass and go. It detracts from what we do around here. It detracts from the subjects. It detracts from male health. It detracts from suicide prevention. It detracts from just giving males a place where they don't have to be so damn effeminate out there, where we don't have to acquiesce to the will of the blue pill nation, where we don't have to say things that we don't want to say just to make people happy. It's like walking in the store every day and the same old thing. How you doing, Joe? And you go, I'm great. Well, 92% of the time, I just want to say, hey, Dougie's been driving me crazy. There's things going on my street, and I want to tell the truth, but I can't tell the truth. MGTOW is the place where we do tell the truth, and that diverts all that crazy thinking. That diverts all that garbage. I was reading an article lately about doing things we don't want to do as human beings. When you go to work, about working in those jobs where you're just unhappy and it leads to depression. And the topic was depression. MGTOW cures most depressions because MGTOWs aren't doing things that they don't want to do anymore. We don't want to be those people. We don't want to be saying things all the time that present cognitive dissonance in our brains. You want to cure depression? You got a buddy that has depression? Introduce him to MGTOW. It'll go away real fast. 90, I don't know how many. It's just it's an uncanny, crazy number of people in the Western world now that take Paxil and Zoloft and can't go through the day without feeling that cognitive dissonance, feeling that pain of doing something every single day that they want to do, that they don't want to do. Most people don't go to these jobs and say, hey, this is just great. I was kind of a lucky person in life that I, even though the job was miserable and hard and hot, it was what I wanted to do in life. It didn't provide much cognitive dissonance in my soul. I like fixing big things. I like getting on top of things. I like those unsurmountable tasks that look too big for a normal human being, but I do them well because I take one foot and I put it in front of the other and I just start doing it. And I'm like a little worker ant. Before I know it, I have a whole pile of food for the winter. And I get jobs done that way. It makes me feel good. It gives me that internal validation from myself that I need after I look at something. It's like painting a wall. You got a wall that's a nasty old wall. You scrape it down, you fill it, you sand it, then you paint it, and you give it a fresh coat, and you try to make those little speckles in it that are perfectly just gauged in between, and it looks perfectly flat. And then you look at it and you go, that's a thing of beauty. And it makes you feel good inside. That's what MGTOW is all about. It's about doing something or not having. It's about enjoying what you do. It's about doing something beautiful. It's about being comfortable with the skin you live in. It's about being comfortable with the life you live. A lot of changes MGTOWs make while they're here. They're doing one thing. They're doing a lot of things. They're putting up with a lot of things they don't need to put up with. And the whole world's badgering them, and they got to listen to the blah, 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 blah constantly from the blue pill world out there. It's constantly ringing in your soul. You separate yourself from that as a MGTOW, and you move along, and you try to give as little sparks out in this world as you can. You don't rub against anything, and you don't rub against anybody, and you don't you just try to slide on through this world and make it easy for yourself, because man, at the end of the day, that feels a whole lot better than arguing and fighting and disagreeing and arguing about politics, and everybody's on edge. And that's the old life. The new MGTOW life you come into, it's groovy. It's like walking in slow motion. Man, I just walk through the day now, and I try to give as little resistance to the world as possible. And I just walk on by. I don't look at certain things. I don't look at the actions of silly females out there, or simp men simping all the time. And I try to put those things, I try to put blinders on when it comes to those things. And I don't call attention to me. I don't call no evil to me anymore. That was a kind of topic that I meant to cover, calling evil to you, calling the universe to you. Guess what you're going to get if you call the universe to you? You're going to get the universe, and you're going to get that squarely planted on your back, because you're a male. And they'll expect you to take that responsibility, even though you don't want it, and it makes you unhappy, and you'll end up like Sisyphus climbing up that old mountain. I see I must have irritated someone real bad there, because I got 10 downvotes right off the bat. And that's good when I get 10 downvotes right off the bat, because I know I said something to irritate them. The two major things in here in this hangout is my viewers are smart enough to know not to sit there and argue with silly feminists. So they use the 3 dots on the edge. I don't have to do that for them. They're smart enough to know that, and that makes me just happy. And number 2, sometimes, once in a while, you're going to have to do something so unpleasant, like going to talk to a feminist. But yelling and screaming obscenities is never going to make them go away. A matter of fact, that will make them come harder. You present yourself as a reasonable, honest MGTOW, and most of the time the answer is, we ain't hurting nobody. Why do you feel a need to come around here? We ain't hurting nobody. There's never in the history of MGTOW, as far as I know, of a MGTOW that has actually hurt another person. And that's amazing. And that's amazing. And I think I would have heard about it if it did happen. If you've heard about it, please tell me, because I've never, in the hundreds of thousands of men that I've met in MGTOW over the last 20 years, I've never heard of a violent MGTOW. I've never heard of one going out and hurting someone. I've never seen one go to jail. After they take on this program, it's about avoiding all that risk. And if the FBI would like to come to me and show me some statistics, I'd welcome them. Now I know for the young guys around here, it's fun. Guys, please fill up that like section down there, the offsets, the the troll disvotes. I knew that was going to happen as soon as I started talking about these two things that I've done in my life that I was very successful at. Nobody likes someone being successful. Most of these guys that come around, they really, really like the drama, and they don't give a shit about MGTOW and how it makes the rest of us normal guys feel. They just want that excessive drama to fill up the lack of validation that they ain't getting now from women because they ain't participating in that stuff. So they fill it with drama, and they fill it with snarkiness, and they fill it with casual cruelty, and they run around MGTOW doing that. It makes it a miserable place. These last 3 or 4 months since I've been thinking about this whole lot. I've removed a lot of things from my life, and I started being a more pleasant person, and it just works out better for me. Maybe I ain't the most popular person in MGTOW because I don't have the schoolboy drama bullshit going, but I don't really care about that. That's what I wanted to talk about today, just a little bit. There's ways to handle these things that are appropriate, and there's ways to handle these things that are inappropriate. And it'll take a long time for some guys to get it. I guess I had to learn that lesson from my friend Whiskey. Whiskey just takes everything and slides off his back, and he doesn't argue with nobody about nothing. It's funny that Whiskey was named in that too. After my reawakening to my awakening, they went after the two people in this world that really don't care about the drama trolling. They went after the two people in the world that just, man, we don't care about all that stuff. And there was purpose behind that. It's separate and divide. It's conquer. They need to conquer MGTOW. And most of these guys, you'll find out, they're just men hiding behind a female avatar. It's just your buddies you talk to daily around here. That's the you'll see them on all the threads. They always have something snarky to say. They're always very viciously, casually cruel for anything female. And that's what's going to bring the trolls around. That's what's going to bring the females around. And that's what always, every single time, has brought the females around. Somebody went out of MGTOW. Somebody went irritated somebody on the other side of the feminine valley over there. And then they came back and they made all of our lives miserable for a certain amount of time until all the drama wore off, and it wasn't so new to them. And then they're like, yeah, I can go back to my side now because I've tortured you guys enough. And for the older guys that know, for the older guys that really know that it's all about torture, that's what they love doing to us. They love torturing us. And that's what it was with my ex. That's what it was with almost every girlfriend I've ever had in my life. If it was a daily grind and torture, and she can see that testosterone and discomfort oozing out of my face with a wrinkle starting on my forehead, she was happy as hell because she had done her job. And it ain't no different in here. Every time she gets you all excited where you start yelling and screaming and trying to defend MGTOW with your vigorous masculinity, she just sits back and laughs because that's what she wanted. She wanted to take the minutes off of your life. She wanted your heart to explode. And that's why we die earlier, because we generally can't control these things, and we generally get ignited. We're walking through life, and we're little powder kegs bumping up against everything and making sparks, ready to explode on everybody. That's the worst time. That's the worst kind of MGTOW. The MIUD males. They're simps. They're white knights, and they're beggars, and they're cackling hyenas, and they're ready to explode on you at a moment's notice. And it's nothing you done. It's just that he's got to go home and get that scowl look on his face and listen to all that stupidity as she tortures him for 24/7. Why do men tournament? That's why they tournament. Because they're taking out their frustrations on other men that they know that can take it. And once in a while, we'll end up killing each other. And once in a while, we're going to end up causing another male to commit suicide because he thinks that he's useless in this world. And I've never met a useless male in this world. And most of the men that I've seen commit suicide in this world had a lot of value. And I'd like to have them back in my life every day. And I think about those friends. And they all had one thing in common. There was something with one of these there. And she was making his life miserable. And if he just had MGTOW, a little bit of MGTOW, he would have just went, don't bother me, I'll walk away. In his life, that's what he would have did. He would have walked away from all that. So there's a lot of lessons to be learned about here and playing the drama games. One of these days, we're going to end up getting one of our friends killed. And that's not what MGTOW is about. Got a sore throat today. I picked it up over the weekend. Don't know why, but that's weather in Ohio. So I hope you're all doing well, and I hope you're all doing good. And when you see the drama and you see the casual cruelty, just give a statement, an honest, reasonable statement, and say that's not the way we do it. That's not the way we do it in MGTOW. We ain't drama boys. You can get that every day on the street out there. Them blue pill boys running around just living for drama. That ain't MGTOW. When you are asked to go upon a show that you don't really want to be on or something that you really don't want to do, sometimes the best thing is to do it and just present yourself as a reasonable male. There'll be no need for them to come back. Why would they? There's no fight in that. Why would they? There's no drama. There's no excitement. Why would they come back? If you do provide drama, they will, one thing for sure and two for certain, they will be back again next day. But when they come back, they'll bother the rest of us. Then we all have to deal with it. And the most reasonable answer there is MGTOW ain't hurting nobody. Show me a stat that says a MGTOW has ever committed an act of violence. Now, if that was a thing in MGTOW, I think that they would have discovered that already because, well, they discovered that about Incel. They discovered that about TFL. They discovered that about PUA. They're always in the news. They're always in the news saying bad things about them. MGTOW very rarely makes it in the news. And when they do make it in the news, the big shock factor of that is these guys are separating themselves from women. Whoa. Whoa. Like that's some big, huge announcement to them after the way the world has acted towards us men in the last 40 years. It's some big revelation to them that men are going MGTOW and separating themselves from society and separating themselves from women, which I agree that men and women should never, ever copulate or live together in this day and this age. You should be as far away from each other as possible. So hello, Prune Juice. Hello, I'm MGTOW Thread. Hello, Victor Frankenstein. Hello, Riff, my friend. Hello, RP. Hello, Sooth. Hello, I'm proud to be a toxic male. Love that. Hello, MGTOW Values. I think we can learn and grow up in MGTOW. But it's going to take a long time. And like I said, MGTOW's a reciprocal thing. It goes around and around and around and around. And the longer you stay around there, the longer you're going to learn. The longer you're going to have to learn the patterns. You'll see it over and over and over again. And one thing will pop out at you. It always goes the same way. Somebody brought something in. They didn't wander upon us. And if they did wander upon a bunch of reasonable men talking about spark plug gaps and fixing their car and what they did over the weekend, that would be so boring to them, they would leave. The only reason they stay is because someone makes a snarky comment, and then they're going to make us pay. In their little minds, they're going to make us pay, but they ain't going to make that one single person pay. They're going to make us all pay. They're going to be snarky to us all. They're going to troll each and every one of our podcasts. And in that, you're hurting your brother. It's my theory that if you're driving out of a parking lot on a Wednesday morning going to work and you got your cup of coffee in your hand and someone pulls out in front and you throw on the brake and the cup of coffee spills and you briefly yell at each other for a moment and then he goes his way and then you go your way. If you're still yelling 5 miles down the road, you're an idiot and you're only hurting yourself. You got to let that shit roll off your back and you're going to get a lot of it. They're going to come around. They're going to try. As soon as they get a reaction out of you, that's when they got you. Be reasonable. Say we're not hurting anybody. We don't hate anybody. We just love ourselves. Reasonable answers a monk would give. They'll go away because there's no argument in that. There's simply no argument in that. And that's all they wanted anyways, is the drama. Don't do that in your life. Don't invite chaos. Don't invite evil into your life. Because one thing for sure and two for certain, if you invite evil in your life, that's what you'll get. My advice, when they come around, just ignore them. Talk like reasonable men and never, ever, ever be casually cruel to them, because that's the only thing they won't forgive, and that's the only thing that will bring them back around. Boring man stuff doesn't turn them on. Talking about masculinity doesn't turn them on. They don't stay around for that. Matter of fact, it's like nails on their soul. It is. So that's all I wanted to say today. I got a few comments today. One guy thanking me for doing what I did, and that was nice. And one guy yelling at me for doing what I did, and he never seen the actual logic of what I did and how well it had turned out. MGTOW is not arguing or fighting with the world anymore. I ain't got enough strength. I ain't got enough patience. And that's a waste of my time. If you ask me what it is, I'll tell you reasonable what it is. I'm not going to get snarky, and I'm not going to get I'm not going to make these people mad anymore, and I'm not going to be their little toy wind up doll for them. Us MGTOWs, we don't levitate for the world. We're not that kind of monk. We're not the sideshow. We're no longer the entertainment. That's all I got to say today. I'm no longer the entertainment. I don't play guitar and sing for people anymore. You don't wind me up and I ching, ching, chink my little tambourine anymore and go and explode when you want me to. I don't do those things anymore. I just want to be left alone. And that's the way most MGTOWs feel. We just want to be left alone to enjoy our perfect solitude. That's it today, MGTOWs. Thanks for coming around. Thanks for listening. And most of all, thanks for being MGTOW. MGTOW. You're the only reason I come around here. We all got a job to do, and that job is to wake up 90% of the world. It ain't no small job, but it'll get done. It'll get done. I got faith in you guys. Just do your part, whatever small part to whatever big part that is. Give what you can. That's gratitude. Giving back what was given to you freely is gratitude. And them expressions will always be appreciated around here. Most of all, just thanks a lot for being my friend, MGTOW. MGTOW. I'll see y'all later. You guys take care.